Stanz, there's a YouTuber that has been uploading some wild content recently, and I thought we'd take a look at their channel for Dive Miss.
Okay, great. I would love that. Dive Miss is an inspirational time of the year, and I love highlighting creators on YouTube.
Maybe it's not like that.
I'm crying. True Geordie is now part of the grifterverse crying emojis. Donald Trump wins. These Karens are raging about it. The real reason Donald Trump won the election. Oh, True Geordie's just I mean, we all know if you've watched any of these deep dives, he's not American. He's just fully Trump built.
I was once a fan, and it makes me upset that I was, especially since I have done all this research and gone back and realized I'm sad that I was a fan of some of this stuff in hindsight.
He Blue Van Man'd you.
Very funny you say that. Blue Van Man got his start from True Geordie.
No!
If you want to understand, we'll go into all the details as to how this happened, as in these videos that were being made by True Geordie, because he's not always been like this. TLDR, he got cancelled, lost viewers and sponsors, and went right-wing.
Oh, it's like the classic. It's actually super normal. Okay.
I wanted to show you how True Geordie got here. And what kind of YouTuber he used to be, and what happened, and the whole story.
Right, a YouTuber you liked, someone that you enjoyed watching, someone that was a commentator and supporting his friend through his YouTuber boxing experience. Yeah.
Okay, let's start at the beginning.
Right.
A True Geordie's view on Nile Ranger.
Now, you know who Nile Ranger is, right?
I don't. I'm not even going to pretend to know who Nile Ranger is.
No, you shouldn't. He is an ex-Newcastle football player from 11 years ago. It's not like he just wasn't performing very well, and then got annoyed at fans that got annoyed at him.
Okay.
And that really pissed off Brian, aka True Geordie.
His name is Brian. Okay.
He made a video to express his anger in a rant.
Message to Nile Ranger here. Newcastle United player.
Could he have picked a darker room? I guess it's 11 years ago. But like, dude, 3-4, the world's darkest room.
I use that term loosely. Pond life would probably be a better fucking term for the little. A player who very, very rarely plays for the Newcastle team has come out and criticised the fans. Newcastle have been nothing short of absolutely fucking shit this season.
Tough.
They've been absolutely dire. If they're trying their best and they still lose, I can't ask any more than that, and that's fair enough.
Dude, fair enough. This guy's based, man.
Become a good footballer.
Sorry, let me rewind a little bit. Who is True Geordie? Like, why did he make this video? Is he like a super fan? Do people know him, or is he literally just a guy?
This is a nothing. He is just a dude that is talking to a camera at this point.
Because it feels like he's talking to me like he's an expert, and I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Why should you say who Nile Ranger is? Okay, got it. He's got a love of the game.
If you're gonna boo, don't bother coming, as if it's his fucking club.
Oh, that's what Niall said, and this is what's gonna really piss off True Geordie.
This is so good.
Don't boo if you're gonna bother. If you don't bother coming, is he fucking taking the piss here? I'll fucking boo if I want to fucking boo, sunshine. Got every fucking right.
Dude, he's so mad. He's got like serial killer eyes. Holy shit.
He's already been ranting for 2 minutes and he's still this mad. It's amazing. This whole video is just him getting really annoyed and swearing at the guy. It's
and people
a funny video.
loved it. I mean, Newcastle fans, but also other people, I assume.
I don't think it was the literal first video on his channel, but it was the start of his like rise. This is how people found out about him, as in like football fans. And this spurred him on to make more videos. And he kind of became like a FIFA player / analytical. Like if they finish watching a football match, they'll talk about the game and what pissed them off.
Got it. Just a classic, really just a football fan.
All of these videos are, the start of this video is so fucking funny because I don't think you can get more British than fucking drinking piss out of a like plastic glass that's like too small and they're about to talk about football.
Love that.
All of these videos, there's a ton of these like football react style videos that have been deleted off his channel or privated or whatever.
Oh wait, why did he delete them?
Just they're not the kind of in the same vein as like Joe Weller removing a lot of the videos. He wasn't happy with them, or they weren't the kind of style of content that he was wanting to do move forward. A lot of YouTubers that go through like eras will remove past content because it's not the kind of content that they're making now.
Fair enough.
Does my drinking offend you?
8 years ago. Why are we? I guess this is 2016. This is like, early Trump. I'm jumping ahead because I know that he has all these Trump videos now. But the classic, like, does this offend you, liberal? Is like
that's something that I want to address now. Is so he wasn't like how he is now. I know I've shown you that, and that's how we started off this dive.
Yeah.
You have to
get it out of my head.
off.
Got finished watching the match, come home, and I need to say a few fucking things here, because when you get beat off your local rivals 3-0 at home, it's time to stop romanticising the club, stop romanticising the players, call a spade, and say what needs to be fucking done to sort this out.
We're shit.
Alan Pardew can get his players up for a game, but his tactics are piss poor.
I can't understand half the shit he's saying.
I wondered if that was going to be the case.
Yeah, I'm just like trying to do it. I think I'm understanding the manager has bad tactics, but I don't really know.
He has a strong accent, but it's not like undiscernible. You know, like he is still saying words in the English language. We can skip to 3:12 in this video, just so you can get an idea of like the different generations, I guess, of these kind of videos.
Oh, he's got some technology now, dude. Does that offend you? Oh, is he gonna stop? Dude, I was making a joke.
Bro.
Does he say it every time? Is it like actually his thing? No,
I'm pretty sure it is
so funny.
A reference rather than like his thing. Yeah, okay, I thought it was this. I just wanted to check. It's a reference from The Office, as in like UK Office. He is a huge David Brent fan / Ricky Gervais fan.
Okay.
Does my drinking offend you? What's going on, everyone? It's the true Geordie back again, and Newcastle have been beaten by Sunderland not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 fucking times in a row. Yes, I thought it was Christmas, not fucking Groundhog Day. How is this happening every fucking time?
That's a pretty good one.
It's a good line. He's like a sports pundit. He's like Stephen A. Smith, man.
There's even more of an upgrade.
What's going on, everyone? It's the true Geordie back again, and Newcastle have lost 3.
Dude, he's in like the Fox News studio. This is nice shit, man.
Yeah, he's also getting more and more like angry, but not like he's not saying anything more angry. He's just saying it angrier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's saying,
"What's up? It's the true Geordie." He's like
he's getting wrinkles on his nose because of how much he's frowning.
This is the worst. This is the hardest one to take ever, because the first 5, Newcastle was shite. We deserved to lose. Sunderland were better, and I'm man enough to admit that. But not today. No fucking way.
I've got no issues with this guy. Can I say that? He just seems like a guy who loves his team. This is fine. This is cool. Yeah. He's just making videos.
No one had issues with him. It was great. People loved him. Even people that didn't give a shit about Newcastle were like, dude, I wanted to listen to this guy talk about his team.
Dude, especially if Newcastle loses, you're like, oh, we got to watch the new True Geordie.
Yeah, you're like, I've got to watch this next one. As you're like watching the Sunderland match, you're like, bro, I got to see his reaction to this. So he got known in the football sphere of YouTube, which is like slightly adjacent to the like Sidemen, British YouTube scene.
Totally. They were doing tons of FIFA. They were doing tons of, after a while, football challenges. It makes sense that he would be involved in some way.
So then these worlds collided at the first ever Sidemen charity match when they asked True Geordie and his friend who was helping him out with some videos, Lawrence, to commentate.
Oh, nice. Should I know Lawrence? Have you said that like I've met Lawrence?
No, but Lawrence is a big part of this channel. He is the True Geordie, but he is with Lawrence almost all the time.
Got it. I fuck with Lawrence doing the top button, so I hope that Lawrence didn't do it.
I hate Lawrence doing the top button, but we don't need to get into that.
Spencer.
Oh, the point's been skinned. Oh, and he skinned the keeper. This is class. That is class. Oh, what a goal, son.
That is
class. Sign him up, Newcastle. I'll have him.
He was celebrating.
Dude, Newcastle needs help. They keep losing to Sunderland, man.
This like sows the seeds of his like commentary. You obviously know that eventually he commentates boxing fights. We've talked about that with the Joe Weller deep dive.
He's got great energy for it.
Energy for sure. Maybe the actual commentary part of it, not so much in my opinion.
He's got to punch him. He's got to punch him. Joe, you got to punch him, Joe.
We'll get there. Yeah. But before we get there, around this time, True Geordie started his podcast, which is how I would say most people know about him.
Oh, really?
The True Geordie podcast was huge. There's reasons for it, and we're going to do a full breakdown, but this is just episode 1.
What's going on, everyone? It's the...
What's going on, everyone? It's the True Geordie back again
For the first time, actually. Not really again, is it? But we're back on YouTube. First time on iTunes.
Good.
On the True Geordie podcast.
On your own show.
Got my own shit going, mate.
Yeah.
So I run this shit. Got my own table. I don't really own the table, but we've got some nice plants. They might we'll take them home.
Cacti.
Glass of water. Got some patterns on it. It's all, it's cushy, mate. Treble
These
cush.
cups.
There's a nervous energy around them. They haven't settled into the podcast yet.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But that very quickly goes. Just generally, Lawrence and Brian have a really good rapport with each other. Lawrence is very quick-witted. And True Geordie will say some of the most batshit out-of-pocket stuff.
Okay.
Lawrence does a really good job of like reining him in as much as he possibly can, and like maybe having the voice of reason. You'll see how that dynamic doesn't really work when we get closer to the cancellation. But for in their peak, it worked really well.
God, to me, he's just like British Tim the Tap Man. I can't not see it. You know what I mean?
Hey, yeah, they look very similar.
Yeah,
I don't think
they both yell about sports.
Personality-wise.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't watch either of them, so to me, they're the same person. They're like a regional variant of a Pokemon. You know what I mean?
That's such a good way to describe them.
Yeah.
Because he had met a bunch
Sorry,
of
they talk about the
YouTubers.
Brad and Angelina divorce. So that's my real question. It's not all football talk. They're just talking about like whatever.
No,
they
it's just
want.
a general podcast.
Yeah, it's just a general
and you'll
podcast.
see the podcast strays well away from football talk for the most part. In their first couple of episodes, they naturally bring up football because they're
passionate
in a
about
football
it. They're
background.
fans. They've done a lot of it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, Lawrence came from Copper 90, which was this channel hub that produced a lot of football content and would get other YouTubers to like feature in their content. I think Joe Weller and KSI have both been on their channel a lot to do football related things. And he worked behind the scenes at Copper 90 before meeting True Geordie and starting this podcast.
Very cool.
Because they met a bunch of YouTubers at the Sidemen charity match, he was able to get some good interviews on their podcast.
Right, you meet them in person. You're like, hey, you should come on my podcast sometime. And they feel like, I can't say no. And so they get to do it. That's sick.
The first of which that we'll look at is KSI, which is like the biggest, right? If you're going to get a British YouTuber on your podcast, on your British podcast, it's KSI.
Dude, they upgraded their succulents to actual cacti. Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, there are other rappers that maybe you're with, a couple of like the Sidemen, the YouTube guys who know what that experience is like. So I guess it's important to keep those guys around you at the same time.
That's the thing. They keep me grounded.
Yeah.
Like
in a weird way, because they're all up with you in that sense.
Well, exactly. Like that's the thing. You don't want people who are just yes man around you, because you will then think you're the shit, and then you'll treat people like shit. Like,
Out of all of the Sidemen, who's
gassed you the most?
Out of all of them, who's the most likely to pull you and go, JJ, mate, you're being a bellend? Like, is there anyone who would say that?
I'd say all of them.
All of them, yeah.
All of them, yeah.
So
we're all good.
I think those two like questions from either one of Lawrence and True Geordie is a good like idea of why they worked well as the podcast, especially like interviewing people. The vibes of the podcast was they're all just like having a relaxing conversation, which was great for getting guests to like talk about shit, honestly.
Yeah, open up.
Lawrence would kind of be a bit more together and ask like maybe a deeper or like an interesting question. And then True Geordie would jump off the back of that and go like, yeah, so which one of them do you not like? Or like, how much do you want to fuck that one over this one, you know?
Sure. He'll give him like a simple question or something fun, a little easier to digest.
And I mention which one would you rather fuck because True Geordie loves to make the conversation move to like sexual things.
Oh, really?
This is his interview with Joe Weller.
Oh, well, now we got two fucking sex guys in the same room. This is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously with how open, obviously, social media is, you like constantly getting hit up.
Titty pics?
No, by people that are normal, not just disgraceful True Geordie women.
Girls, True Geordie.
Wait, are you trying to basically get out of me where the fans send me nudes?
Yeah,
I'm sure they do.
I mean,
I've got no doubt they do, mate. There's no doubt in my mind.
This is how relaxed the YouTubers are around these two. Like, this is the kind of podcast that you wouldn't see. And it's a good example of them making everything very sexual. You know, there's something worth mentioning at this point that unlike other YouTube podcasts that were like focused on influencers or interviewing YouTubers like we've seen, they were getting some crazy guests, especially for a podcast that had just started up. Saying that, a lot of these guests, you're going to be like, who? Because they're crazy British guests.
Sure.
But the first one that I want to talk about is
that
Alan
bloke won
Shearer.
Dancing with the Stars. Sorry, Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah.
Holy.
First person I want to talk about is Alan Shearer. Do you know that name, Stanz?
No, I don't fucking know that name, bro.
So if you don't have any idea who he is, what's great is, and something that the True Geordie podcast was really good at, is production level on these interview podcasts. You will get a great idea of what he's like and what he's been through, Alan Shearer, I mean, from this intro.
On the True Geordie podcast, the man I idolised for my entire childhood.
Was that actually True Geordie and Alan Shearer?
Yes.
Podcast. He was the Newcastle and England captain and the all-time Premier League top goal scorer.
Oh, is he still? Can't be, right? He still is? That's crazy.
And his name is Alan Shearer.
Oh my God, he was a human torpedo.
Yeah, so that gets you an idea of like the level of guest that it is, Alan Shearer, especially for True Geordie to be interviewing him as like the Newcastle guy, right?
Yeah. It'd be like if you were from fucking Akron, Ohio, and you got LeBron James to come on your podcast on episode 66, right? You're like, dude, I'm from Ohio. You're from Ohio. You're the top scorer in the NBA. It's crazy.
Yeah, I get that reference too. That's crazy.
Sorry, I'm just trying to bring this to my American people who probably aren't watching a True Geordie fucking when did he go wrong?
That's what I was thinking as you made the reference.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak my truth to the world.
Another big hitter, Tyson Fury.
Oh.
Who I don't think I need to explain.
No, we know Tyson Fury.
This week on the True Geordie podcast, it's the lineal heavyweight champion of the world.
AKA the Gypsy King.
Pause there because we don't need any more. And also, it's like dude, doesn't that get you hyped? I want to watch this fucking podcast now.
I would like to watch the podcast. I think the intro with like clips and stuff is a really good idea.
This next person is huge, but like almost only in the UK/Europe. But you have heard their name before, and I want to see if you remember where Robbie Williams is from.
Oh, yeah. Famous comedian. He was in Mrs. Doubtfire and Flubber. Unfortunately killed himself.
He's in Take That, Stanz. He is from Take That.
That is.
Gary Barlow.
Oh, the boy band from 2 days ago?
Yes!
This is another guy from that boy band?
He is like the biggest person from that boy band. He left and joined and left and joined. And he's like a multi-platinum selling artist, absolutely huge. He just literally never broke out into the US. I know you have no idea who he is.
Yeah, but he was huge for you guys.
Chat, maybe can help me. What level do you think for a US celeb that we could compare Robbie Williams to?
Timberlake? There's no way he's a Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. Yeah, a very similar. That's actually a perfect example. He's that level, and also was in a big boy band that then he left and had the successful solo career of.
I see.
He's that level in the UK. Yeah,
I didn't even know who Tyson Fury was. I'm lost. That's very funny.
This week on the True Geordie podcast, the biggest selling male artist in British music history, and his name is Robbie Williams.
I've spent the whole summer with you guys, literally on tour. Every podcast that's come out, I've watched beginning to end. I'm a huge fan.
He's a huge fan of the True Geordie podcast?
Yeah, unironically as well. He reached out to them to start to like come on the podcast. How crazy is that?
Interesting. Yeah, that is crazy. And this is all relatively early into the run. Are they doing weekly, bi-weekly? What's the deal?
Yeah, as close to weekly as they can, I think.
Right. Yeah, maybe a couple skips. His guests are actually huge. Is he huge? Like, do people on the street, are they talking about True Geordie around this time?
In the YouTube scene, yeah. Like, he's not like UK famous, but he is online famous. Like, if he uploaded a podcast episode that didn't get like close to 1 million views or hit 1 million views, it would be bad for him. Like, 1 million was like his floor.
With fiction, we create our own heroes and villains as role play for the soul, so no one really gets hurt. But when you go through those things, your body doesn't know it's not real. When you cry at fiction, you're crying. Yeah. You're really crying.
I think you make me cry worse, though, because you've brought me so many laughs that I'm more emotionally connected to you as a friend.
This music and the way they're doing this with a little bit of like reverb or echo, whatever they have, is so funny.
Yeah, that was the UK Office theme that's playing. And he is the guy that wrote The Office, if you don't know.
Yeah, of course. And True Geordie loves The Office, and I assume would love Ricky Gervais.
So this was like, for him, peak of his career. This is like the highest of highs. So as well as celebs, he was interviewing like interesting people. For example, a London hitman gangster.
That's sick.
This week on the True Geordie podcast, we have a man who's described as one of the baddest men in the country, a hitman with his own firm.
I don't like the way he says country.
Connections to some of the
That's his
notorious-
accent, bro. You can't. Go on.
I don't
Give
like
him that
it.
one.
I don't like it.
It's Bobby Cummins. At one time, one of the most dangerous men in the
Just
country.
look at it.
Do some pretty bad things, mate, but sitting looking at you now, you come across as a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
It's one of those things. It's quite strange, but
Dude, this does make me want to watch this episode like badly.
Right, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like all of these episodes, for example, England's Wolf of Wall Street, they're like really interesting interviews with crazy people that I didn't even know I wanted to know the story of.
So at this point, you're in a Las Vegas hotel room with your newly married lesbian wife.
Married by Elvis.
Yeah. A cocaine hyped hooker. And the weird thing is, you haven't come yet.
He also interviewed a really young poker player.
£10 to 5.7 million. Holy, that's a great title.
Original guests. Something a bit different. Today.
Why is he just slurping on a smoothie? Is this what I sound like when we're trying to record stuff and I'm just slurping?
Yep.
This is awful. This
is also much earlier on than some of the other ones that I've sent.
Sure. Yeah, episode 33.
You can tell how unprepared and bad they are.
Yeah.
Keep listening.
Charlie Carell. I like
Nicely dramatic. Coming on, man.
I like how I said that as if he's like a zoo animal. And I'm like, it's an elephant.
In his natural habitat.
Yeah.
22, aren't you?
23.
23.
Oh.
I checked the old.
Unless his birthday was yesterday. Yeah, that's tough. He's crushing the game. He's interviewing whoever he wants in a variety of different topics, and they're getting millions of views, which is crazy.
There's reason for him to be getting them because of the level of people that he's bringing on.
Yeah, you would actually want to hear these people's stories.
So going back now to his sports/commentary side, Geordie had kind of cemented himself as the YouTube sports broadcaster. So when Weller needed someone to commentate his boxing fight, you know who he got to call.
Yeah, it was just obvious. I got to get True Geordie. Punch him, Joel! You got to punch him, Joel!
Not this one.
I know, but it just makes me think about it.
All right, here it is. It's YouTube's first ever big boxing fight. Joe Weller, Theo Baker.
God, even just hearing that is crazy, huh? YouTube's first ever big boxing fight.
Then moving forward a little bit, this might seem strange, but it'll become relevant later.
Okay.
A certain someone films a dead body.
Oh, classic.
We've never you know that this happened, but I don't think we've ever talked about it in a YouTube video because it's never been relevant.
That's true. It was so long ago, and it's kind of a thing that everyone just knows.
Sorry, I bring up the Logan Paul thing because True Geordie made a video on it.
Oh, interesting. Logan Paul exploits dead body. Oh, and he's crying. Oh my God. Okay, well, trigger warning.
How can this benefit me, you fucking prick? I wasn't planning on making a video the day, but sometimes you just fucking have to, unfortunately. I'm in bed, 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, and I see this video pop up, everyone's banging on about Logan Paul. I never thought I'd be saying this on a video, but the kid has went into a forest in Japan because it's known for suicides.
There's a reason why True Geordie was particularly affected by this. You'll see as he gets more emotional, he will reveal it in videos as we go through. So
I get a lot of messages from people who are having mental problems and who are having life problems a lot, because in doing podcasts, what you give people is a conversation to be a part of. Some people are very lonely. And when people are lonely, they need time to be taken up by feeling like they're not on their own, and podcasts are really good for that. And that's why I did one on Christmas Day. I fucking care about people. I care about people. And it's sad when someone
Damn, the vibe shift from the beginning when I'm like, ugh, he's just making this video because there's drama going on. Maybe something about me looking like introspective. So like where we are now, where it's like, damn, I'm really glad he made this video. This is obviously personally affects him, and he thinks he can like make a change in the world by addressing it and talking about it. Is like something really, really pure.
He has him as like a vibe as a YouTuber, very similar vibes to Joe, and I think that's why when they met, they like gelled really well. Which is big tough guy that is like able to show his emotions is usually rare. Like it shouldn't be rare, but that as like a stereotype. Both Joe and True Geordie were very open about mental health and very supportive and able to show their true feelings on things. It's one of the reasons why people like watch them and like them so much.
Right, it just felt different than maybe what they were getting in traditional media or even like YouTubers that they liked.
This is going to be, it's a roller coaster of emotions. There is a reason that we've talked about this here. We're getting back into the boxing scene.
Okay.
And obviously, you know that at some point Logan Paul is involved in this boxing scene.
Yeah. Dude, if you told me that Logan Paul's first fight is True Geordie, my mind...
that would be fucking amazing.
Sick.
It is not.
Yeah.
But just so you know, this has happened. I'm telling you in chronological order. So,
got it.
The next thing that happened that was like notable was KSI and Weller have their fight, and True Geordie is the commentator.
Right, Joe, punch him, Joe. Joe, you gotta punch him.
We can hear that right here.
Hook by JJ. Another jab by JJ. Joe not answering. Joe hasn't thrown a punch yet. Joe needs to start throwing. Joe needs to throw. Joe needs to throw a punch.
You can pause. Go back at the last Joe needs to throw a punch.
Yeah.
You can hear him pull the mic away and
He's
just like
standing
try
up
and
to,
say
like,
it
look
to
in.
Joe.
Yay! Joe, you gotta throw.
Joe needs to throw. Joe needs to throw a punch.
So at this point, it felt like Geordie was maybe had been grandfathered in to this. He was in the Sidemen charity match. Plus, he was really good friends with Joe Weller, so he did the Joe Weller Theo match. Having both of those in his bag basically meant he was the perfect person to then mediate and commentate the KSI Weller boxing fight.
Totally.
So when it came to KSI versus Logan Paul, now that Weller wasn't involved, there was less of a draw for Geordie to be the commentator.
Right, he might actually have to work for it, like, try and kind of work his way into it versus just being like the guy who commentated Joe's first fight. He's going to commentate another one. They're friends. He'll probably do it for a good rate. He's popular on the internet. Maybe Logan wants someone different, someone more prestige.
So they did 2 press conferences for KSI and Logan Paul. One of them was in LA. And as you can imagine, the Pauls went fucking crazy and dominated, and the crowd was going wild and hating KSI.
Sure.
But then there was a press conference in London, and this was mediated. I say mediated, definitely put that in quotation marks because not very well, by True Geordie. And as you can imagine, Logan Paul wasn't very well received in London.
Right. They kind of have their own home territory.
Sit down. Let's do some questions. Don't throw anything. Calm down, all right? Fucking hell. All right.
Hey.
This wig is crazy.
The wig is crazy. I've skipped a lot just because there is so much that happened in this. Crowd are throwing things at Logan Paul.
Right.
It's
We can
not
hear
going
True
very
Geordie
well.
saying, please stop throwing things.
Yeah. And then this happens.
Fuck you, Logan. Fuck you, Logan. Fuck you, Logan. Fuck you.
Damn, he looks so different.
You, Logan. Fuck you, Logan. All right.
How you feeling, bro?
Is that lip quivering?
Hey.
Is that lip? How's that lip?
Hey, I would love to sit here and answer your questions.
All right,
I feel like KSI addressed everything.
All right, JJ.
London, I'm out. I'll see you August 25th.
Logan. Where you going, bro?
And he just leaves. That's it. He walks out. The whole Paul group leave London, and they clearly were not happy with how things went.
Right, it was an adversarial area. They got theirs in LA. They had to take it on the chin in London, and they can move on to the fight.
Yeah, but they didn't take it on the chin, to be fair. They left, as you can tell,
how
very
long
early on.
I don't know how long they're supposed to stay. I actually don't really know for press conferences.
Logan then gets really annoyed at the moderator, aka True Geordie.
Got it.
Who apparently should have given him time to speak. He said that Geordie was biased against the Pauls, and so True Geordie made a response video.
Oh, another Logan Paul response.
Yes.
Please take your own advice. You hypocritical douchosaurus rex.
If you're one of my audience and you don't know Disney Channel language, it means he thinks I'm a cunt. I can't even know. All right, I've listened to what you have to say, pal. Now you're going to listen to what I have to say. And I'm not going to bullshit everyone and make out like I'm perfect and you're the bad guy, because that's what every fucking YouTuber does. I'm happy to take responsibility of where I fucked up, but let's have it right. I want to give you credit to start off with. I think you're becoming incredibly skilled at PR. You're painting yourself out to be the victim so that win or lose in this fight, you're still going to win at the end of the day anyway. And that shows you're a smart lad and you're thinking about every single outcome. You call me a Logan Paul hater. Now I understand why you think that. Because the first video that you ever seen of me was me screaming about something that you did and attacking you. My first impression of you was you laughing at a fucking dead body in a forest, a victim of suicide. Probably the worst first impression you can have in human fucking history. Sure. Yeah, I probably went fucking overboard. You probably misjudged me the way I probably misjudged you. You think I'm here to pick the bones. I'm a fucking another bloke at the carcass that was your career at that time, just trying to shove as many subscribers in the bag as I can, as everyone has the end of Logan Paul's life party. That wasn't what I was fucking involved.
Really eloquently put. I was saying, damn, these analogies, he's painting a very vivid picture, and it's like, yeah, Logan probably does think exactly that.
I'm a fucking sports YouTuber. I'm a podcaster. And I don't make videos and make a living off of other people's demises. I made that video out of pure hurt because I have people who look up to me and message me about feeling suicidal. And I've actually found someone the way you found someone. But I didn't react the way you did. And it brought memories back like it would have done for a lot of people when you put that video out. And I wasn't just speaking for me and my hurt, I was speaking for everyone else who would have felt that way about what you did. And I'm not bringing this up now to try and gain off of you or profit off of you, but you've brought up my previous actions to make me out to look a cunt. And I'm not having it. Now, according to the organisers of the event, you're stopping me from commentating this event, and I've built...
He's trying to ice him out? Excuse me?
And trying to be the sportscaster of YouTube. And now you get to take that away from me. This is your revenge, mate. For me making that video about you, you now get to stop me doing something I would love to do. You've got your revenge. Congrats. I hope it satisfies you. I hope it makes you happy. You say you're learning from your mistakes. I hope you are. Genuinely, mate. As man to man, I do hope you are. Because I don't envy the year you've had. In fact, I'll give you credit. It probably would have broken most people. So you must have some strength in you to fucking tolerate that. Because when everyone comes for you the way they came for you, it couldn't have been easy for you. But you call me a hypocrite. As someone affected by suicide, how am I supposed to forgive Logan for what he did when he can't forgive me for having a problem with what he did? Who's the fucking hypocrite?
This dive has been a roller coaster. I feel like I've been on the True Geordie side, I've been off the True Geordie side, and now I'm back on the True Geordie side.
Everyone was at the time, and they were like, damn right, this guy spit in.
And to be
Logan
fair, you
Paul,
are
what the hell?
obviously a big fan of the UK YouTube scene, and so you're primed to be a Logan hater. I think everyone's probably a Logan hater at this point, or most people
at this point, for sure. Yeah.
But it's like you even more than most like get to relish in this victory of like True Geordie. Finally, someone tells him how it is. Yeah, it's a good moment for the UK YouTube fan base.
What do you think, Stanz, that happened next? Logan made a video, was annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
True Geordie has responded.
Yeah. I think next thing we see is Logan Paul on the True Geordie podcast, fucking hashing it out, man.
Okay, you are like a couple steps away. That does happen. That does happen. So you're not entirely wrong. I'll give you like half a point.
Okay, I'll take it.
What actually happens is maybe the most surprising part about this whole dive. Logan not only responds in like a pretty decent way.
He apologizes and he lets True Geordie be the commentator.
But he does it offline.
Oh.
He got my number off of one of KSI's team, and I was like, Logan Paul wants to ring me. I was fucking shocked, to be honest with you. But to be fair, when he got on the phone, it was quite a long chat, actually.
it's unfortunate that that's how we have to get information across to each other. That's why I just wanted to call you and let you know where I was coming from and how I feel.
Now, in the past, when Logan's done something wrong, I've slammed him and done it fucking publicly. And I think it's only fair that when he does something right, I give him the same treatment. And to me, he did something right, yeah. He manned up, spoke to me on the phone, and...
They quashed the beef, bro.
They squash the beef offline, which is like the ideal way to squash internet beef, right?
Yeah.
You just take it offline, you talk to the person, and usually you have like some small disagreement that actually isn't that deep, and that one person was in the wrong. They
it's like
apologize.
Joe and Elliot, dude.
Sorted.
All you got to do is get a phone call going. Yeah.
Crazy that person that did it was Logan Paul, right? That actually did what I feel like is the right move. And they squashed the beef, and that meant that True Geordie then commentated on the fight.
Oh, that's so sweet. Logan, you gotta punch him, Logan. Logan, you gotta punch him. Oh my God.
We don't need to watch the whole fight, but you get an idea of his commentary. Very similar to the other times that he's commentated, but definitely not bad. It's entertaining, right?
Yeah, I think it's what a lot of people who maybe aren't like longtime boxing fans would want to hear. It's like, he hits him again. He hit him with a jab. Oh my goodness, the damage, versus like exactly the footwork or something that maybe a boxing aficionado would want to hear.
And now, around this time, True Geordie also makes some other YouTube channels. And the first one is one that we've talked about on this channel before. One of the first YouTube deep dives. I want to see if you can remember.
Ooh, like first ever, you and me?
Essentially, I have told you about True Geordie before in a video that wasn't the Joe Weller one. You have known about him before from this.
Yes.
The XO YouTube channel.
Oh, dude, it was like the weird ass Avengers. It was like,
yeah.
They made merch. Steven Tries.
Steven Tries and Will N.E.
Yeah. And wait, and Average Geordie? True Geordie?
Average Geordie.
I keep calling him that. I keep calling him that. I did it at the beginning of this dive too. True Geordie. Holy, yeah, 5 years ago. They did mean tweets. Oh, they have Lawrence
if you go
too.
on popular rather than latest, because it fell off.
Yeah. Damn.
So it was meant to be like a Sidemen-esque YouTube channel, right? Like these people just collaborating. It was Will N.E., Stephen Tries, True Geordie, and Lawrence McKenna.
Yeah.
And it didn't go very well.
They just didn't have the same vibes, you know what I mean?
I don't know why it didn't go well. Like, what was the determining factor that it failed and they stopped uploading? Because the videos were doing okay. Like, there was something that clearly happened that stopped it from happening.
Right.
But whatever that was, we will never know.
What a bummer. I mean, I think a bummer. As of right now, to me, that is a bummer.
And then there was two channels that were sports related. We had one called The Pain Game, boxing and fighting oriented UFC stuff.
I did not mean to spoil it. It's still going on today.
Yeah, it's still going on today. Channel was made about 6 years ago. It was just a place where True Geordie could talk about boxing related things and build up an audience that was separate to the kind of podcasts that he was making.
Right, there was a little more variety. This is like
Yeah.
specifically about fight sports.
And at this same time, he was already doing a show that was called The Kickoff, which, as you can tell, hopefully by the name, that is a football-based show.
That does make sense.
They would watch a Premier League game live and commentate as they're watching it. So it's like a watch-along party, essentially.
Someone
for
in chat, just to give you a little spoiler, was like, oh shit, they're talking about everything. The Kickoff.
If I link you The Kickoff,
yeah,
and you go on to the oldest videos, you will see that there isn't anything past a year
ago. Oh, interesting. Okay. Got it.
Now, The Kickoff went through a lot of different phases and a lot of different... It was on YouTube for a bit. It was on Twitch for a bit, like when it was being streamed live. But there is a reason why we don't see anything past a year ago, and we will get there. But first, we have to talk about some of the controversies that True Geordie has gone through. One of which is maybe the funniest thing that we're going to talk about today, Stanz.
Okay,
and
I'm excited for something
really
funny.
Yeah, this isn't like a controversy, but people were talking about it a lot. These DMs leaked of True Geordie messaging
Someone said
a girl.
eating poop rage. What is happening? What? There's no fucking way. These DMs from True Geordie can't be real. What the actual fuck? Are these real?
So before you click,
sorry, I won't read it.
No, you're okay.
Yeah.
You can. I think all of this is fine for Twitch. For the YouTube, we will be blurring some things and maybe censoring some words. These are confirmed real screenshots. Just so you know.
And we know, based on the way he talked to Joe Weller, that he might have a message with a bird on Instagram. You know what I mean?
He a little freak for real.
He's a little freak. He says, "Fuck, you can have whatever you want, even if you tell me to remove my penis so you can have the bigger d- while I'm fucking you. I will obey no matter how humiliating that is because you can have whatever you desire." Okay, so he's got a humiliation kink. So maybe he leaked these. Bigger?
He gets graphic with a lot of this.
Sure.
If there's ever a point that you want to stop, let me know. But I think it's all very funny.
If I need to. How did it feel having that big black cock inside you? Fuck. Does bigger feel better? A strike from the record. Fuck. Would it be okay if I sucked it after it's been in you? I'll throw it for you. Yeah, he really wants to be humiliated.
Yeah.
Badly.
I feel bad that the person that screenshotted this and shared it wasn't like brave enough to show her side, you know?
Right.
Why is she removing things that she said?
Yeah.
But he can be like, maybe you could my ass and on me. Apparently, that's the only bit on that screenshot that we need.
I don't even know what to say besides like, hey man, different strokes for different folks, right?
Literally, yeah.
I got no problems with True Geordie at this point. It sucks that it leaked in this way. I'm sure that he didn't want it to.
This is out of the two big controversies.
Yeah.
As we said, this is the happy, funny one.
Sure, this is not even a controversy, really. It just sucks that he got leaked.
And this is the one that he responded to in the best way, in my opinion. However, he has since deleted it, which sucks.
Oh, bummer.
Which was a YouTube video of him and Lawrence going through the DMs, and Lawrence read it and would go, "So what do you think about this?" And he would like describe what he was feeling at the time and why he said it.
Wow.
And the best part about this is they got Steven Tries to roast him and write jokes.
That's so weird.
I've looked in my little folder here and it says Brian Roast.
Ladies and gentlemen, the roast of True Geordie.
Brian's got a lot to get off his chest, and that's just from last night.
Very nice, man.
All of these are fucking bangers. This is honestly maybe Steven's best work, by the way, that we're about to witness. Is just they're so fucking funny.
I was surprised Brian asked me to come here today and roast him. Then I remembered he loves being humiliated by a big dick. I recently spoke to your boxing coach, Vidal. He said, Geordie's a great student. He's always open to getting a few tips in the ring. Some Newcastle supporters...
This is a really... You were right. And this is a very good way to get through it. Something like kind of embarrassing leaks. You know what? Take it on the chin. Make a few jokes
Pardon
about
the pun.
it. Yeah, pardon the pun. Like, it is true. It is a thing that is true to him, right? It wasn't fake or anything. It is like, hey, this is how I talk to people. I have to own it, which is very... I respect that about him, for sure.
Yes, he could have ignored it. He could have said it was fake.
It was fake. Yeah,
like, a lot of people were like, are they real? Like, there's no proof. And he went, yep, they're real. And we're going to do a video and talk about it on the channel.
Yeah. Which rules. It actually rules.
You were really drunk when you sent those messages. Well, it's not the first time you've been shit-faced. Brian loves gym girls, especially ones that can squat and curl one out.
So I can squat and what? Curl one out? Jesus Christ, dude. He's really
so good.
Honed in on the shit stuff.
Yeah, we can stop there just because we could watch
There's
this
another
whole
5 minutes
video,
of it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that this video was relatively recently deleted because there wasn't any backlash from him putting it out.
Right.
It was like everyone thought, well, my opinion anyway, was that it's fucking sick and what a great way to deal with the controversy. So at some point in between releasing it and then like people not really caring about it anymore, he must have like felt embarrassed.
Yeah, had a change of heart about what he wanted on the internet about him, which he's fair enough. You can have that.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, it's a shame because it was like, first of all, this is proof you can't delete anything from the internet. It's still going to be there. The screenshots are still there. It's just, it shows that he's not as, I don't know, like confident about it. So it takes something away from the response, you know?
Yeah, some people in chat are saying maybe it was when he started working with DAZN that like maybe an employer didn't want the fact that this is out there, let alone him. But we know what kind of videos he's making. Maybe he does care about this. I would hate to make a judgment right here. Right now, this video rules.
We are now about to get into the big one. Okay. The controversy that fully cancelled True Geordie. I say fully cancelled because he still
makes videos on about 7 channels. It seems like
yeah. I'm talking about like in the woke mind's opinion, you know, like people are like, oh, I don't like True Geordie now because of this.
Sure.
And for this, we need to talk about someone that I despise, and I know that you do, Andrew.
Oh yeah, I'm a Andrew hater.
I think for the purposes of this dive, we need to give them a nickname so that we don't mention their name in the YouTube video, because I think YouTube started doing this new thing where if you mention a person, it like tells you in the description the people that are featured in this video.
Right, and you don't want him to be featured in the video.
I don't want YouTube's algorithm to think that this is a video about this person.
Just call him Andy. Just fucking say Andy, man.
Okay, well, we'll call him Andy then.
Yeah.
True Geordie was arguing against Andy, so you would imagine he's on the right side of history for this.
Yeah.
Basically, there was a ton of back and forth on Twitter. They were arguing. He talked about the business that Andy was doing, and there was talks of like a boxing match that was maybe going to happen.
Between them?
Yeah, when I say talks, it's like one person was like, "Oh, I'd beat you in a fight."
Sure. Not like actually
official.
A real thing. Yeah.
This was also around the time where Andy turned to Islam and became a Muslim. And around this, I noticed there was a lot of Islamophobia online about that.
Oh no!
Because it was accepted that Andy is a bad guy, so I can say a bunch of racist, Islamophobic things about that person because they're a bad guy. Not realizing that that's obviously just not an okay thing to say.
Of course. It's starting to make a lot of sense to me now.
And so around this time, Geordie said this on a live stream.
Are you fighting Andrew Tate? Mate, come on.
Andrew Tate's got God on his side now. There's no way Brian would win that.
Although
his friend is always a little funny, man. So he's he's a cheeky little guy.
I would gladly blow myself up if I could take that fucking shitbag with us.
That's the use of a stereotype there, which is obviously not what he...
I'm just saying, if he really wants to prove it, do the right thing.
Ooh.
Let's see how...
It's a stereotype.
Let's see how about that life you really are.
Dude, he's trying to walk him back.
Lawrence is trying to save it.
He's like, hey, that is not a thing we say on this. And he goes, no, this is the thing I say. And he goes, just a joke, a real negative thing. And he goes, no, I really want him to do that. Lawrence's wife is Muslim. That is tough.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
just reading
say that.
Yeah.
It makes it worse when you learn that Lawrence is married and has a child with a Muslim woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fallout from this was he lost all his sponsors that were public. They literally like put out statements saying, we have cut all ties, terminated contracts, don't want any association with him.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reason why the kickoff doesn't have any videos prior, because they were all sponsored by all of these, like, there was a betting company that sponsored them for a bit. There was other companies, and they were all like, please remove all content. We want no association with you whatsoever.
Right.
So he lost obviously sponsors on the main channel as well, not just the kickoff, all of the podcast sponsors. Everyone was batting against him on this, and then True Geordie and Lawrence get on an episode of their podcast to apologize, which has since been deleted. So
both have been deleted. Obviously, this has been deleted.
You might get to see why this has been deleted.
Not even going to apologize?
Well, he does apologize. This clip is obviously 2 minutes of the 50-minute podcast.
Sure.
If you take just this 2 minutes, it's pretty all right. He apologizes, what I'm saying.
I see.
It's the other things that he also says in the same podcast that makes it feel like it's not a real apology and he doesn't really understand.
That makes sense.
So we'll watch this and I'll give some more context.
Fucking horrendous, you know. It was one of those off-the-cuff remarks that I made with a total lack of thought, and I used an unrealistic stereotype to take aim at someone who seriously dislikes me. Obviously, I don't believe that's what Muslims actually do, and I don't actually want Mr. Potato Head to die, as much as I don't really like him. It was a very stupid thing to say. It was an idiotic joke, one I'm sorry for, you know. For me, knowing that is like, when Lawrence's son was born, it meant a lot, you know, to me. And to think that anyone would think that that's like a thing that's in me, when I have so much like love for your family. It was just such a stupid moment, you know, and that's when I thought about people like Gib, you know, like people who I do rate and respect, who would think and see that and think, what is he?
I'm gonna pause right here. So far, like, hey, decent apology. Yeah.
The worst thing he's doing here, in my opinion, is him making it about himself.
Yeah. But
that's like, it's not. I wouldn't like pitchforks hate him for apologizing, but making him about himself.
Totally.
It could be better, but it's not the end of the
It's
world.
also like what he did in the past, right? He makes it about himself with the Logan Paul thing. It's what people kind of like about him, is that he talks about like his relationship to a lot of these things. It's really unfair to judge a person's apology by a person that might have been hurt, like staying around them, right? Just because Lawrence is there doesn't actually mean anything, but like marketing wise and psychologically, it does kind of work on me, right? When he can talk about like Lawrence and his family and how much he means to them and cry, and Lawrence can sit there and nod, and it's like, okay, wait, is he walking down this road of like getting forgiveness from the people that he's actually hurting most? I don't know.
I'm a cocky guy, and I say a lot of silly jokes, and I love myself.
Maybe don't compare it to a silly joke.
To a degree, and I get lost in that sometimes.
And sometimes you enjoy upsetting people.
No, I absolutely do, and I'm not disputing that, you know. Like, and unfortunately, classing yourself as somewhat a semi-comedian who wants to make people laugh, I accept that every single video that goes out, I'm going to piss.
And they deleted this one too?
So this whole entire podcast episode is deleted. And what the video we just watched is missing is the parts of the episode where he deflects and defends the joke. He says, these are quotes, "I make ignorant jokes like this all the time," which is not... That doesn't make it okay. That's crazy. Don't make them then.
No, you don't get it. I drive drunk all the time, officer. It's like, wait, what?
And he also says, "I dated a Muslim girl once, and she was surprised I was into her because I look like one of the guys that would bully her in high school."
I dated a Muslim girl once is crazy. It's crazy. It's like, don't even say it. On this 2 minutes that I've seen is like, you know what? Okay, I would like to see you do the work and prove that you don't have this hate in your heart by like the things that you were going to do next as an apology. And as someone who, it's not me who accepts this apology. Like, I am ready to see the next thing. But to then have a longer episode where you're like, and also I love Muslim food. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, dude. Yeah, like, Jesus.
He also ended the episode with, and I'm not kidding, "So hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to the True Geordie podcast." And it's like, it's there isn't even a beat between him like talking about the hard-hitting stuff and then that. It's like in the same sentence. They don't ever stop talking about it.
That could be like Pavlovian. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, video's over. Like sometimes.
No, the way he's saying it is almost like he knows kind of how stupid he's saying it. It's how stupid it is in the moment, which is like, don't even make it as like a joke if that was the intention, right? That's not the place to do it. So the video has been deleted. The podcast episode has been deleted because it got such a bad backlash. And if anything, it drew more, like if there was any sponsors that were still around, it drew way more attention to it, and more people hated him and didn't want him to have a platform. Hence the cancelling, you know? Somehow he started a beef with Andy and ended up being the bad guy. Because then that obviously gave them a big, oh, this guy hates religion, and he can go on huge tirades, and it was not a good situation. As well as all of his sponsors going, this eventually led to the whole cast of the Kickoff leaving all at once. Which
Was that
is
because
also
sponsors left, or did they leave for like personal reasons? I guess
no, they all definitely. I think that with the speed that they left, I think it was like they were already wanting to leave, and then I think there was maybe some money issues where Geordie was getting a big slice of the pie for the Kickoff, and they wanted some. So whatever it was, very, very quickly, they leave and start up their own channel called The Club.
Oh, interesting.
It's a time
very interesting.
Which, yeah, if you go onto videos and go onto Oldest, their Oldest is also 1 year ago. Because that's when they started, and that's when the Kickoff got new cast, and True Geordie carried on and desperately tried to get new sponsors and stuff like that.
Right.
After the awful response on his apology, he deleted it and uploaded this podcast episode.
True Geordie talks Islam with Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa. Should I know these people? Or is he's going to do an intro, huh?
He does a bit of an intro. One of the people isn't even here when they start the podcast, which is crazy. Like he's running late or whatever, but they had to get started, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
This whole podcast is basically two Muslim content creators whose whole thing is educating people on Islam, explaining basically why Islamophobia exists and is kind of like, especially in the UK. I know you guys in the US also have a problem with it, where it's like it's almost accepted as like just an okay thing, and or at least a lot more than some other things. They have a big, long conversation, which obviously we can't just watch.
2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah,
you can press play to watch the intro to get an idea of what's going on. But
welcome back to True Geordie podcast. Today's guest is Mohammed Hijab and Ali Dawa, who is just, we're waiting on him, but he'll be here. He's on the way. Thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate it. It's funny. I've been recommended a lot of people to talk to, and your name was right at the very top of the list.
Naturally.
No, truth be told, because
interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, now I will say that this video was, at least for the people that were still around, was much better received. It has done really well, like it's got a couple million views or whatever. It was a good conversation, I think, but I think most people, even if they were still here, felt like it was a little too late, you know?
Right. Generally, this is a great opportunity. When you do something like this, you kind of need to sit back and listen and be like, okay, let me try and understand. And I can see a world where this is actually a very appropriate response, not knowing what they talk about, but maybe it is too little too late.
If you go down to the comments, you can see a lot of people are like saying that this is a good response. They're happy with this. I think a lot of people had already left. So I don't think those people, like I think most people are already
new
like,
audience
True Geordie's gone.
Yeah.
So I don't think they stuck around after the apology to even see that he did this video. Nonetheless, he'd already lost the sponsors. It didn't undo any of the consequences of what he'd previously said. And eventually, even Lawrence leaves.
Oh, that's really sad.
So,
I'm not the one who determines if that's sad, but it's like looking at it as an outsider, it's like, oh, man, they've been doing it the entire time.
Yeah, for True Geordie, it's got to be sad. Whether that's like a
shit for Lawrence, I'm sure it's sad. You know what I mean? That
yeah. I don't want to speak. Hey, maybe this isn't the dive. This is just my thoughts because fucking people don't like when I give an opinion.
I love to hear your thoughts, even if they don't make it into the YouTube video.
I think this very much changes. You know, you were saying like, oh, the way that True Geordie's talking to Lawrence in this, he's like saying he's really sorry to Lawrence, and that it affects how I view their apology because this other person is like taking it.
Call me a simpleton, but there's definitely something there. For sure.
It lessens that for me, knowing that he's no longer associated with.
Well, yeah,
True
I mean,
Geordie
if I
at all,
believe
right?
that, I have to believe the opposite of that means something as well. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly,
like, oh wait, Lawrence is no longer around. Oof, that makes me feel a certain kind of way. No, completely agree with you. But for the YouTube people, Kant said something cringe and we cut it out. Don't believe anything he says for the rest of this.
And now we are at current day.
Okay.
We're back to what we saw at the start of this video.
Yeah. Is
The
Dr.
content that he's
Disrespect
making
innocent?
now. Right? How
Yeah.
fucking insane is that?
That's
Spoiler alert. No. Why would you
Yeah.
have that as the thumbnail? Well, I watched some of these videos
Okay.
to be like, what is this guy fucking doing? Is it like just bad clickbait, or is it like, is he actually thinking these things?
Sure.
And so I thought we'd take a look at some of his content. And the first one that I want to touch on is actually his video on Liam Payne.
Is this the reason why? This one?
Yeah. This was uploaded the day after he dies.
Oh, that is kind of gross.
The whole video is basically how Liam Payne's ex-girlfriend, Maya Henry, is wrong to have talked badly about Liam in interviews, and knew all along that he was going to kill himself, and is therefore the reason that he did.
But if you did a podcast like this 2 days before someone committed suicide, talking about them in such a careless way, I know people.
What?
Who said bad things to people before a suicide. And I've seen the way that that impacts people. And often they will never own it. They will never say it loud. They'll hide it within themselves for decades. But it just eats away, and it lives on their face, man.
I mean, this is just tough because he's obviously got some personal trauma with suicide. We saw it with the Logan Paul Suicide Forest stuff. I don't necessarily know what it has to do with this video and them and her, but he's trying to work through something personally and espouse like his beliefs on what went right and wrong in that situation. But truly, like what he's talking about, the things he's saying has nothing to do with Liam and his ex-girlfriend. It has only to do with himself.
And I'm not going to go through the whole interview because it's a 51-minute interview, but the gist of it is I loved him, but I need to do this for my healing. Let's cut the shit. We know what this is, right? You didn't love him. When you really love someone and you know they're low, even if they've done things to you, it doesn't mean, like I've had people do loads of bad things to me before. It doesn't mean that I have to hurt them back automatically. That doesn't give you the right to do anything.
How does she hurt him? What are we even talking? Sorry, I'm lost. I'm lost in the fucking sauce.
I'm going to pay a therapist now to tell her, there, it's not your fault really. It'll make it all better now. God knows. Because that's what's going to happen. But at least that book will sell well, so she won't have to feel bad for too long, because that was what this was all about, wasn't it? Now the book's going to sell. Brilliant. Job done. And for those who are saying, well, she couldn't have really known. Literally, a girl on Twitter tweeted out the day of that podcast, because of the podcast, Liam Payne, low-key, going to kill himself. Gone by...
She couldn't have known. There was no way to... insane
I'm sorry
logic.
for laughing, but it's like Twitter using a tweet that's just like someone. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a
Some
screenshot.
random person
Actual
watched.
tweet. This is crazy. Liam Payne low-key gonna kill himself, dude. I fucking knew it. It is wild.
Yeah, his level of journalism is that in the replies to this, someone was like, oh my God, how did you know? Because they then respond saying they watched a podcast with Maya Henry and thought that the like headspace that he'd be in could be something like that.
Right.
So that, in True Geordie's mind, means that Maya Henry had to know that all the things that she was saying was going to make him kill himself, you know?
Right. Because Shy Girl on Twitter saw it, you
Yeah.
know, which is like, there's so many things posted on Twitter constantly.
It's just all this isn't fun.
Yeah. Hey,
it's sad going
not.
through it. So
Does he do the podcast still?
No,
Yeah, he
he's
can't
pretty
be a
much
co-host.
stopped doing the podcast. This is technically True News, which is so sad because True News was actually like a pretty fun show between him and Lawrence. It was like a co-hosted thing where they would talk about a multitude of different topics. And now it's just like he's talking about this one topic that is like really, really sad, and he has some bad opinions usually on it. He tells a really good joke about Kamala Harris. You'll
A really
like the
good joke. I can't wait to hear it.
And the one thing I really dislike is the woke shit that we've seen in the last sort of 10 years. And if you're an opponent of that, I'm more likely to vote for you. Do you know what I mean? And that was one of the ways that I predicted that Kamala was going to go down. Ironically, that's one of the ways she got her start in politics, because she used to on politician. Forget it. It's another story for another day. It's a popularity.
Yeah, told you, really good joke.
I had a lot of sympathy in my heart for True Geordie and like what he went through. And maybe it's just the fact that I fucking watched him cry about suicide and Logan Paul. And I watched him like take it on the chin about the fact that he wanted a fucking big black dildo in his butt. Before we did these videos, I was like, man, maybe he truly did mean to apologize. And it does kind of suck that this all happened. But now I'm watching this and it's like, oh, maybe he actually just has fucking beans for brains. You know what I mean? I don't know the answer. He seemed like a reasonable, empathetic guy. And now I'm like, what is happening here? Maybe he truly does just care about number go up on YouTube more than like anything else.
That's exactly what I was trying to like relay to you at the start.
Yeah. This to me is like a different person. Like this guy just fucking sucks. I don't care about him at all.
Yeah.
Why is he making these videos? Oh, he cares about this and suicide and like he's willing to bare himself. He's willing to embarrass himself on the internet. And then we get to this, which is just like a whole different human being.
And that's what made me want to do this dive when I saw the tweet, because I was genuinely shocked. I was like, this is not where I thought he would go. Right, let's close this out.
Let's close this out.
So that's True Geordie, commentator and podcast extraordinaire turned into a right-wing grifter who, in my opinion, is cringe as hell. What do you think, Stanz?
I liked him better when he was having women shit on his chest.
Hey, you couldn't have said it better myself.
Yay.
Is that really how you want to end the video?
I don't know. That's the problem, man. I actually don't know.